game number 1 of our 4th best of 3 here on the C stream. In the bottom right, spawning as the red Terran player playing for Team Axon, it's going to be SpeCial.
And his opponent, the blue Terran player playing for Team Envy, it is Bunny.
Nice. All right. Bunny versus SpeCial. As we see SpeCial opening up with that gas first build order. Rather than opening with the barracks first that we see from Bunny over here. Now, so far SpeCial hasn't scouted a single time. I spoke a little bit with SpeCial before his game. Or well, he messaged me. He said he felt sad about both his games against Innovation and his games against Time. And felt like he threw those games a little bit out of the window. So definitely upset with his position currently in the group, as he's 1-6, I believe, in map score and 0-3 in matches, which means it's going to be difficult, if not impossible, to advance out of this group right now for him. So yeah, we'll have...
Well, Bunny also in a very similar position, right? Isn't he 2-6 as well or something?
Let me
or maybe even 0-6.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he actually won a map yet.
No, he's actually 0-6. So yeah, they're both not in the greatest of positions. Neither of them are in a red shade on Liquipedia yet. So I'm not sure if you can ever advance with a 46 map score theoretically, but maybe there is the weirdest scenario ever where we bring out the coin flip again or something. But
maybe there's still some draw that we're not aware of. But yeah, it's definitely looking rough here for both of these guys. As we see SpeCial actually going for a 1 Rex expand without a scout. And we see Bunny going for his 2 gas opener also without a scout. So SpeCial is just checking around. Just seeing, hey, is there any proxy barracks nearby? And if so, where is it going to be? Of course, that's not the case, as we see Bunny just start his own command center at home. Starts a Hellion, and he's actually getting a 3rd Reaper here. So we're actually seeing the famed triple Reaper double Hellion opener here out of Bunny, who takes a little bit of damage on the Reaper, which doesn't sound like a big deal. But if you're playing against this type of opener... Oh, actually, never mind. SpeCial actually opened with triple Marine before Reactor, playing it ultra safe.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, if there are 3 Reapers and the Hellions show up, that means that the Reactor is not producing extra Marines, so it's not like he has more Marines than he would otherwise have if he made the Reactor first. It is easier, however, to defend these first 2 Reapers with this, and he's even getting a 2nd Hellion, so what he's doing is relatively safe against what Bunny is doing, so overall build order advantage goes slightly in favor of SpeCial if he defends this well.
Yeah, but that is still an if. Of course, 3 Reapers do move up. SpeCial's moving forward. Not the greatest micro. Ends up actually going down in that trade a little bit, I believe. Yeah, losing slightly more units there. Kind of painful, as Bunny's 3rd gas is going down at the same time. And really the only thing that... Oh, I was going to say SpeCial is ahead and is in mules, but this is really, really bad for SpeCial right now. Needs to pull away the mules.
Yeah, that was decent in the end that he managed to clear this up, but the mules lost at least like 1 or 2 mining trips, which is obviously 30 minerals each, so that's pretty annoying. However, Bunny needed that damage to even just equalize the game, since his own mule is a little bit later on. So I think overall it is a fine position still for a SpeCial. By no means is he out. However, Bunny is going for a Cyclone Raven, so very safe against the Banshee. It's all going to be about where each player positions the units, who decides to move out in what way.
Yeah, seeing that single Banshee without cloak is truly being very popular these days. We've seen it a lot already this tournament. Clem do it, I think, twice, maybe even 3 games. We saw it once before today, I believe, as well. And now here, once again, with SpeCial, that single Banshee is trying to get some damage. Actually, it was in the SpeCial Innovation game, right, on Pillars of Gold, that we saw it as well. So it's perhaps a foreign Terran thing. Here comes the Banshee, will be able to pick off a 1, 2 workers. Might go for a 3rd, as there's no Cyclone here. Cyclone actually was across the map. Oh man, SpeCial so close to grabbing onto that Cyclone. It's not quite getting it. Tank will come to the rescue as the Cyclone runs into the main base, but won't be in time to clear that Banshee, so a Viking will have to do that job later on. did force a turret out of Bunny though, so SpeCial are going to be pretty happy with this sequence of events.
Yeah, I believe so too. And Bunny also didn't have the earliest Raven himself, so it's not like he's getting far ahead or very far ahead in that Raven energy, especially now with that turret spent. He does have a second Raven slightly earlier, but especially not having used any of the other turrets is fine in that energy game. Both players also getting up a very nicely timed third command center. Now the difference is that Bunny has an earlier stim and he started Viking production early. This is the main difference that we're seeing here. Whereas SpeCial is also swapping his starport after 2 Ravens, but obviously made the Banshee, so his Vikings are gonna start a little bit later than Bunny's.
Yeah, see these extra barracks go down right now for SpeCial. Also already has 2 tanks, I believe, 2 Ravens, slightly more energy on at least one of the Ravens, as 1 turret was used already. Marine count in favor of Bunny as Bunny starts moving across the map. Actually takes out the Cyclone, which is annoying here for SpeCial. SpeCial needs to be very, very careful right now.
Absolutely. SpeCial actually scanned and he saw that there were no extra barracks yet, so he knows that this has to be coming. Because he's also gonna know that there was earlier Viking production. Otherwise, there is no reason for his barracks to be delayed. So he needs to watch out. But his Vikings are obviously closer to his own, or he's fighting closer to his own base. So his Vikings are gonna be there sooner, and he has his extra Raven energy. Where as long as he gets the auto turrets down, I think he should be fine. It's oh my god, he needs to watch out to not get jumped on. Bunny actually a little bit later with the auto turrets, but still goes forward, especially is not sieging up all of his tanks, loses the tank for free, but has an extra auto turret. I think he dropped it a little bit prematurely here, especially.
Yeah, not the worst trade though for SpeCial. He right now is 3 Vikings against 5, is up in economy slightly, as his stim is a fair amount later. The one thing that we can say is that SpeCial's been spending a lot of money and units on trying to figure out where his opponent's army is all right now. Of course, Bunny has also been scanning as he stims forward, unsieged tanks, Vikings are landing. There's no energy left on the Ravens here for SpeCial, and SpeCial still has 2 tanks on the low ground. He has 1 tank in the natural as well, and those are going to be a saving grace. Lifts those 2 Vikings into the sky. Oh my god. Some missed target fire there, and somehow, some way, these Vikings actually survive. And now there will be 4 Vikings here for Bunny, and SpeCial can only build them 2 at a time. So unless he manages to pick off those side Vikings before the engagement starts, it's going to be really, really rough.
Yeah, and Bunny spots the Raven. That one thing that SpeCial had going for him very, very hard is that Bunny lost the Ravens without them using the energy before this fight started, and he actually kept his Ravens alive. Now he is coming from behind with one of the Ravens that could either go for a counterattack, but I really doubt it. I think he should use it to try and get an auto turret down there. He might even focus fire 2 of the Vikings. Nope. That was a little bit mistimed, but it did tank an entire tank volley of all the tanks, so he is clearing it up now with the SCVs, and he didn't even lose too many.
Yeah, he hardly lost any SCVs there. I thought this would go way worse for SpeCial, but he finds a way to clean it up relatively easy, I would say. Sensor tower going down right now for SpeCial as he adds barracks number 4. No 5th barracks on the way yet. Armory goes down for SpeCial as well. Yes, Armory already finished for Bunny, so we'll be able to start his 2-2 a little bit faster. We have a double drop heading into the main base where we see no tank currently in position after that very, very volatile early game. However, there is a Viking. This hero Viking just starts his patrolling round. And guess what, my friend? You're going to get real busy real soon. 6 shots for 1 Viking on a medevac, but I think this will be the end for the poor Viking, who gets a single shot off on this medevac. SpeCial immediately scans and start moving units into position into the main base.
Yeah, SpeCial also got his 4th CC cancelled by 2 Marines because he tried to be a little bit greedy and put it on location, so that wasn't great. He also lost the Raven in the corner of the map to the 1 Viking that Bunny had to catch it, and now he's also behind an upgrade. So overall, things are looking good for Bunny, but by no means is he far enough ahead to go and attack or just wipe out SpeCial by any means. This is one of the closest TVTs, I would say, that we had going into a mid-game.
Yeah, also one of the more passive TVTs is both players after that initial phase kind of sat back and have been relaxing for a little bit now. We see small Marine armies move on the map. Bunny tries to go for a poke, but These tanks will give coverage to SpeCial's Marines. Scan coming out of Bunny, sees a bunch of SCVs on the third base. SpeCial's fort, you see, just finished up and will be flying over to his own fort base location. Will still be there faster than Bunny's fort. Bunny, by the way, only on 68 workers here.
Yeah, however, he did not land the fort base yet, so I don't think it matters too much. Whereas SpeCial is already landing his. Bunny always a little bit faster on the extra barracks production, so he's gonna try to use that to his advantage with denying and the potential fort base, as there is only a single tank that's sieged, and Bunny immediately jumps on it and sieges his own tanks. I'm not sure if they're in range of the CC. I think at least one of it should be, and SpeCial is getting caught completely here. He is dropping on the other side at the same time, but he can't even properly defend Bunny's army here and needs to retreat from the CC.
That was a crazy move. I thought Bunny for sure was overextending here, but he knows a lot better. He jumped in, he seized the opportunity, and now this fort base is actually in a lot of trouble. It's going to be hell to clean up. This is a bunch of Marines with 4 tanks. We see that medevac moving forward to provide vision. Is there any Vikings on the map? Yes, but there's also 4 Vikings on the map here for Bunny. SpeCial will need to try and clear that base, or his fort base is going to be useless. He already lost the extra SCV, so at least those won't be standing around doing nothing. It's a, it's a sad thing to mention, but I guess also true. 2 Vikings will provide some vision here. We see a scan coming out of Bunny, who doesn't quite want to give up this position yet. Bunny moving in position to perhaps try a siege on the third base as well.
Now, SpeCial does get a jump, but Bunny all of a sudden has the concave and takes a very favorable engagement, and he's completely out of position with all the tanks. As you said, he left them there towards the fort base, and I think Bunny has just done it. I think with that one move at the fort base, with the one stem forward, he traded so well, and now SpeCial just slightly out of position with his tanks, which is costing him a lot here.
SpeCial's 2-2 finishing about 6 seconds too late for that massive Marine engagement here over at the third base, and that's most likely going to not cost him the game. I feel like the move at the fort, like you mentioned, is more impactful, but it's going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. We see SpeCial kind of gearing up for a final hooray, a final push, but he's only on 46 workers, so he's going to need to do a crap ton with this, and it's going to be hard because there's just a sensor tower. There's no tanks in position actually at this third base. We see a massive pickup into the main base. There's no turrets there either. No tank in the main. Is it still possible? If he gets sieged up into the main... no, okay, he's not going to be able to get sieged up into the main base. He needs to drop down onto the low ground. Complete deception here for SpeCial, who has supplies simply too low to break into any type of position at this point, as Bunny cleans up the top side of the army. SpeCial move commands, or A moves forward with 3 tanks and 8 Marines, but there isn't even medevacs to assist him there. None of those tanks are sieged, and Bunny is just YOLOing to victory right now.
Yeah, it's looking very good for Bunny, and there's not much that SpeCial can do from this position. I think his best chance was to drop into the main base. We saw Bunny actually skipping on the turrets completely, as you said there. He's always investing in the extra bit into the offense, and then tries to just keep the map control. That's why he kind of skipped on these turrets, but now that SpeCial actually managed to get on the map, it was already a little bit too late to make the comeback, so Bunny gets up 1-0 in this series.
Yeah, Bunny actually having his first map win of the day in his 4th match here against SpeCial on Light Shade, which we've seen a fair amount of today. Terrans don't seem to mind it too much in TVT, it seems like. Probably preferring to veto things like Submarine. Maybe Juggernaut. I don't think we've seen very much of that either. So yeah, tough break there for SpeCial, who, if he loses this match, will be occupying the last place in Group B. And that is very, very rough for the Mexican Terran, who's been preparing hard for this, who actually doesn't look bad in his preparation. His openings don't look bad. It's just that he's missing something to kind of finish the game, or truly tilt the game into his advantage, to kind of finish it up, and it just doesn't seem to be there today, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, there's these 1 or 2 clutch moments that early on into a group stage can make you feel like you're playing fantastic that day, and then you just start playing better. And instead, the worst thing that can happen is where you feel like the preparation was good, but then you just played bad, and that's why you lost. Like similar to like the game against Innovation on Pillars, he should have never lost. He just used this Raven energy uselessly, if we remember that. And I feel like from that point on in that series, even the second game, the cleanup wasn't very good by SpeCial, and that's things that for sure if he plays his best there, he would just win that series 3-0. And then it feels so much worse because you start thinking about what if, and as you said, he was frustrated. He even told you so. Yeah, it just starts going downhill from there, especially once you also realize that you're probably out of the tournament. There is still $100 on the line, and you still don't want to go for the 0-5, which we discussed yesterday. But it's obviously like from goes from bad to worse. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's very, very rough on the mental. This game also has to be a little bit of a deception for him. So we're loading into map number 2 on Death Aura, and we've seen SpeCial have a good time on Death Aura before today already. He's took a quick map win against Innovation on this map, which he looked basically invincible on that game. That was such a fantastic game from start to finish. Let's see if he can repeat that success here against Bunny, who will be spawning in the bottom right as the blue Terran player.
And in the top left, spam your Doritos to support Juanito. It is SpeCial.
Spam those Doritos indeed, guys. I don't think there's been a single game so far that SpeCial has scouted. I'd love to see if he continues this trend. I always like it when people don't scout, you know, especially in this type of tournament where there's not too much studying to be done in between matches because you're super busy getting to your next match. You can kind of stick with the same formula even in multiple matchups because everyone is playing at the same time, and you just hope they didn't manage to pick up on too many of your little tricks that you have prepared. So even if you have 3 or 2 of a similar matchup in a group stage, if everyone's playing at the same time, yeah, you can probably get away with not scouting every single game. And as I say that, of course, SpeCial moves across the map with his SC. No, he's like, you know what, Kevin, you're right. We're gonna stick with my tricks. Just go out on the map a little bit to see if there's a proxy barracks. And guess what? I'm gonna be building a 1 gas command center here. Single gas expand coming out of SpeCial, and Bunny will be doing the same thing. There's a slight variation though, or a slight difference between them, and that's that SpeCial opened with gas first.
So SpeCial playing it, I guess, a little bit safer than he did before. He's even gonna hide the CC in the main base. So that's cool to see. Why do you think he's doing that?
He might believe that Bunny will try to figure things out with his first Reaper rather than with an SCV. Then if Bunny does that and spots the lack of a CC, he might become overly defensive. So that is one of the explanations, but it's difficult to say, right? He might also be afraid himself. There's two.
Yeah. He might also just be figuring that if Bunny just goes for a double Reaper setup again, he might not be able to mine from it anyways, and he always lost the SCV if you remember the last couple of games he played. So maybe that because of that a little bit as well. Obviously, I think the denial of the scout being the biggest in this scenario as well. He's also going for a proxy starport this game. So
is this cars? Oh, it's cars.
Yeah, it's a
oh baby. Okay. Then it actually does make sense that it's on the high ground, by the way, because you're not getting a second Reaper, you're not getting a Marine, you're just straight up going into cars. So things like double Reaper can be very frustrating to deal with, and can also just straight up reveal your plans. Now, Bunny has absolutely no idea what's happening, and it's going to come as a complete surprise. They should hit around 403, 404, well, 405, whatever, somewhere between 4 and 410, depending a bit on how far the starport is away. With this location, it really shouldn't be much later than 405 in order to hit hard. I know all these timings because this is a build I frequently lose to when I play against Terrans on the ladder. It used to be really popular. Oh, whoa.
Wow. Okay. So he's actually going for a proxy battlecruiser, which is really cool. And I'm gonna be real with you, I have not seen this, but I know that you're playing more among the MMR of people battlecruiser rushing you. So maybe you have more experience.
Nice. I have to admit, I have lost to someone building Ghost and Battlecruisers as a Zerg player, but in TVT, I haven't seen this build yet. I'm surprised we don't see a medevac at all. He's just straight gonna run by the bunker and say, hello, kill a couple of Marines, and straight move on out of there again. Man, this is... I actually recall a game, I want to say on Eternal Empire, where Cure played Battlecruiser. I don't think it was proxied. I think he might have proxied the Fusion Core a very, very long time ago. I want to say a year maybe. Well, it's not a very long time ago, but at least a reasonably long time ago in StarCraft meta. But between 9 and 12 months or something like that. I think he only went a single Battlecruiser. I honestly can't remember the details. And then after that, he played it a couple more times. I remember discussing this strategy with Wardy when I was on his stream once. So it is not the first time this is being done, but the proxy just adds another layer of insanity, because the Battlecruiser is already so quick usually on the other side with the blinking. I guess his plan is to just fly in and then have the ability to blink out, right? With the existence of the Cyclone, that might just be a very wise decision. Oh my god, if this Cyclone gets killed, that's a massive deal.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the biggest anti-air that he has right now, and I believe Ravens can disable them, but you still need something to clear up the Battlecruiser, and he is starting Viking production, which is good for him after 2 Ravens. It's better than going for 3 Ravens, but this will be very late, and both of them scan each other, and he sees that there is no starport in SpeCial's main, and I wonder what he thinks is going on right now.
Yeah, I really wonder what he thinks, and so I'd love to have a sneak peek into his brain right at this moment, especially right now as this Battlecruiser flies in. Is he going to use interference matrix on this Battlecruiser? What is the play here?
Sure. I mean, you have to, otherwise you just lose everything.
Did he dodge it with a blink?
Yeah, it looked like he did, but I'm not... well, it actually still worked, the interference matrix, but... Do you think he needed to blink there? I feel like he could have stayed.
I have no clue. I'm not too familiar with this scenario.
So... obviously, if you get interference matrix, you can't blink, and then he has a second interference matrix, but I feel like that Battlecruiser wasn't even close to dying against his Marines. So I'm a little bit surprised, but playing it safe until he has 2 PCs, I don't mind it. Yeah,
exactly, because he's gonna be able to Yamato 2 units, which he can just Yamato 2 air units, right? Like that's going to be massive. Actually finds a heli in here. Now, ooh, interference matrix being cast. Is there one more? There will be in a couple of seconds. 2 Cyclones to the rescue will be able to push away this Viking, which is a big deal. I think he can almost blink on top of this army with his second Battlecruiser.
Yeah, I really don't like that interference matrix that he just did there. I think he only should do it when it actually denies. Like, this is, I guess, saving his tank a little bit, and he is pushing right now.
Who? That was a big miscommand there coming out of SpeCial, almost losing him his Battlecruiser. 1 Battlecruiser on the other side of the map, though. What's there to defend? 2 Vikings, but one of those can get Yamato'd immediately. 3rd Battlecruiser halfway done as well. I don't think that Bunny expected another Battlecruiser to just show up. Now, needs to probably teleport out here any moment there. Yep.
Well, he's going for the, what is it called, mech field accelerators, the Cyclone upgrades to deal with the Battlecruisers. So maybe he is expecting a couple extra ones, because those Cyclones should deal very, very well with the Battlecruisers. Just lock on, then go out of range, and the Battlecruisers can't do much more anymore. I still kind of question the way he used the interference matrix, because they're so useful later on, and it still looks like a fine position for Bunny overall, where a specialist is forced to obviously go into mech from this. You can't just play Battlecruiser and then go into bio. I don't think that's a very natural transition, and he keeps rallying Battlecruisers from that 1 starport that Bunny didn't check for.
Yeah, I feel like Bunny was looking for it somewhere at the bottom, or maybe he just wanted to move out there, but didn't quite find it. He should realize by now that this is indeed proxy. It loses 7 workers to this. And yet, actually he's going to be able to... the Yamato targets have been interesting, to say the least. Should probably blink out pretty... I think this was a good chance for an interference matrix, perhaps. How many did he have? He had 2 available. I think he could have gotten this.
Yeah, I think if you see it as a turn player, you can always get out in time. Like, if you see the Raven at the edge of your screen, which he didn't, and then he would have just blinked earlier, I'm pretty sure.
Right. 2 Yamatos available on the Battlecruiser. They're moving on from the left side. Is there a 4th CC yet here for SpeCial? The answer is a hard and resounding no. walking into a little bit of a supply block as well, which is painful, obviously. We see, these Vikings and Ravens are looking for the battlecruisers, but I'm not actually sure if they were too happy with what they found. That was
top right.
Scary moment. Ooh.
Yeah, here he actually used an interference matrix with enough Vikings next to it that he can actually clear it up, and that's where the interference matrix are super strong. I mean, in general, if you have a Raven completely disabling an entire battlecruiser, which is a very expensive unit, then I mean that seems like a good counter to me. I'm not sure if you would like to have those as Protoss, but I wouldn't say no to just disabling an entire unit like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having that. But usually my army just kind of disables the other guy's army altogether, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah, I guess I can neural them as well, so I just take them to me. But
it's not the biggest of deals. This won't keep me up at night, Lambo. That's all I'm going to be saying. As Bunny is up in supply, has a lot of Marauders in his army composition as well as already. So even though he lost a bunch of workers and actually he's up in units lost. He's down in units lost. He's lost less resources. Is what I'm trying to say. Fort CC is being built on the high ground here for SpeCial, and sensor towers going up as well. I'm curious to see if we're going to be moving into a similar push as he did last game.
Yeah, I think he can't really, because the one thing that Innovation didn't have was the Viking count to rival Specialist Viking count, whereas Bunny already has the air superiority, so he could just go into his own Liberators. Now, Special theoretically can bunch up his BCs with the main army and then trying to Yamato those, but in this case also Bunny's ahead in supply, if we remember the Special versus Innovation game. Yeah. Both maxed out around the same time. There's a little bit of a Hellion harass, cleaned up nicely by Bunny. He also has an orbital at the fort, very common against mech, obviously, to not go into those planetary, so he also has extra mules.
Yep, definitely the case. Extra mules, extra scans, a little bit of extra eco altogether, of course, and on top of that you're even saving a little bit of gas, even though that's not going to be on Bunny's mind. He started 2-2, which will finish before the 2-2 of SpeCial. Bunny actually just jumping on top of SpeCial's army here with 2 interference matrices. Will be able to maybe take out this fort base.
I think he could also almost land the Vikings on top of the tanks. There was barely anything to buffer, and if he actually stemmed in with everything together there, I'm very afraid for SpeCial that he doesn't have enough at home without the battlecruisers.
Yeah, this is looking very, very poor for SpeCial right now, and the battlecruisers aren't at home, and perhaps that was the issue for SpeCial in that engagement. Bunny realizing, hey, wait a second, if the battlecruisers aren't at home and I didn't kill them, I put 1 and 1 together and he starts steaming back home. Vikings flying back home as well. Will manage to take out a couple of these tanks and most likely straight up teleport back home. Yep, there we go. First battlecruiser does already. Couple more Marines are gonna go down. Oh, SpeCial needs to be careful. That was very close.
Bunny, by the way, is producing 4 Marauders at a time out of 5 barracks. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Instead of going for 8 racks, you just stay on 5 and then you add extra starports. And he keeps stimming the Marauders towards the battlecruisers, and it's driving me crazy, man. The Marauders can't shoot up. Maybe we should tell him.
His army still looking relatively healthy though. These 3 medevacs been working overtime. Still a little bit of energy in them as well. +3 starting right now for Bunny as Mechfield Accelerator has began for SpeCial. He's once again trying to take his fort base, 4 tanks over there. There's one big thing that happened in that last fight which SpeCial is going to be very happy about, and that's the fact that the Ravens have died.
But we'll see more Ravens on the way, and I think that's a good decision. Overall, obviously, Ravens can disable literally every unit that is in SpeCial's army, and as long as Bunny keeps expanding and then starts denying his base, if he goes into the starport units, gets decent upgrades, especially if he gets a Raven army up, he should be in a prime position.
Yeah, SpeCial doesn't actually have the blink ready on 2 of those battlecruisers. Gonna lose 1. Second one just comes off of cooldown. That was relatively close there.
I would love to see a second armory from Bunny to also start the armor upgrades in this guy, because I think this will matter quite a bit. I think SpeCial is actually not even contesting it. He's going for a Cyclone as anti-air, which is also cool to see. I guess a little bit different than what we usually are used to seeing.
Yeah, definitely a little bit different. Now, SpeCial is actually looking at a move-out timing here with +2 about to finish. Will we see a potential base trade? Will we see Bunny try to catch this army in the middle of the map? We're about to find out, I think. It's not everything here is sieged for SpeCial. Loses a couple of tanks, loses a bunch of Cyclones as well there on the top side.
Yeah, it's so hard to move out with this army. You have to go slowly, and there's acceleration zones as well where the Bio can stem forward every single time. He's also so Marauder heavy that he can stem many times, even though he barely has any medevacs here. Which those are finally also out of energy.
Yeah, he does have 7 in total, but 2 on the left side escorting 4 Marines and 3 Marauders, and 2 at home still, joining up together with these Ravens. It's just the Marauders holding the fort in the middle of the map.
He also he did start Liberator production now, but SpeCial already on top of the Cyclones also started 4 Thors, I believe. So he needs to be really on point with the Raven control. And SpeCial is getting across the map right now without Bunny noticing it, which is huge. I think he believed that those rocks were still there and kind of didn't consider it as an option. But now he's coming in from the flank from everywhere. SpeCial a little bit slow on the siege up. A lot of interference matrices are dropped. And I think this is looking okay for Bunny, honestly.
Yeah, Bunny does clear up almost every single tank supply. Still looking healthy for SpeCial though, who's at 176 against the 154 of Bunny. 83 works for SpeCial, and with that move, if anything, SpeCial kind of managed to establish himself on that left side of the map, and that allows him to take that command center on that left side. He needs to be careful though, as well, actually, how fast is the reproduction here? Do we have 8 racks? Yeah, we do have 8 racks. So reproduction is going to be very, very rapid here for Bunny, who has a massive Raven force. Holy crap.
Yeah. The thing is that in these fights, the Ravens didn't go down, neither did the Liberator. So he did trade out a bunch of the bio units, and even though he didn't remax instantly, I think Bunny's army is just getting very, very effective against what SpeCial has. And SpeCial still needs to worry about the bio units. Obviously, as the bio player, you can remax on both bio and air. And as the mech player, you kind of need to anticipate what your opponent is producing. So he's still producing tanks. He thinks the 4 Thors are enough, but I'm not sure that is the case.
Yeah, gets a scan off right now and only sees ground army as well, so that's not going to help his case. +3 is about to finish up though, and as you mentioned, only +2 ship weapons, still no armor upgrades for those air units. But as long as SpeCial isn't moving into air himself, I'm not even sure how much those armor upgrades will matter.
Absolutely, as SpeCial actually takes out entire base with the 2 battlecruisers on the right side, so Bunny not reacting immediately there and pays for it with a base, and now SpeCial is actually up a base once he starts mining from that CC in the top. Good interference matrices.
These are fantastic interference matrices, and neither of them actually have the jump either. So I think these battle cruisers are goners right now. Might be able to take one more Raven to their grave as they fought well. This battle cruiser had 20 kills the entirety of the game. I'm pretty happy. Doesn't get to retire, but it will fall as a warrior here. As we see a defensive setup out of Bunny with a bunch of Ravens. I mean, he should be capable of at least holding this position, I'd say.
Yeah, and if SpeCial ever is unsieged and the Ravens get on top of him, then he's gonna be in some trouble. Now, I honestly like Bunny's position is still. He's fanning out his entire army, and I think he wants to engage on this. I'm not sure that is the move, because SpeCial is actually positioned in a way where even if Bunny comes in with a concave, if he retreats a little bit, SpeCial that is, he's gonna be very bunched up, Bunny, if he engages.
Yeah, definitely. All of these paths leading towards this more open area where SpeCial is located are actually very, very tight and narrow. Even if he would come from on top of that ramp, he'd need to kind of come from the back, but that would be too obvious with those sensor towers there. We now see Bunny making a move on this 6th base that SpeCial tried to take, and as SpeCial sees that, he's like, okay, you can have that base, I'm just going to move forward slowly but surely. I'd love to see an aggressive sensor tower here, by the way.
Yeah, for now he's making turrets. He's a little bit afraid of the Liberator production, which is not really here. I think what Bunny is thinking is that he's just gonna disable all of the big units, and he stims in with preferably like a 360 surround. But I'm not sure SpeCial wants that to happen. Every time he sees part of the army getting ready to fight, he tries to jump it, and then Bunny needs to over-rotate units towards that area. So now he's kind of circumventing Special's army, obviously knowing that Special's army isn't very good at pushing forward into the couple of tanks that he left behind. And now he baited a bunch of the Cyclones out here.
Yeah, this movement by Special is absolutely insane, by the way, and he's kind of forced a complete split map here while keeping control of those rich Vespine Geyser bases as well. The only thing that's vulnerable is this 1 o'clock base that Bunny is probably going to be able to take out right now. Oh, I don't think this is the move, Special. You can just move in there. See a bunch of interference matrices going down. There is tanks in the back, but those also get interference matrix. That was a nice little trade there. Energy for units is something you always want, and Special needs to be careful for these.
Yeah, and Bunny, by the way, is transitioning into battlecruiser, so every single unit that he trades, he's gonna get a better replacement for it, where Special is on the map with 10 tanks, he's still producing 2 extra tanks. Obviously, there's a bunch of Hellion Cyclone as well, so if Bunny was to completely transition into air with decent upgrades, his army should be superior to the one that Special has, especially if Special tries to fight without auto turrets, or not auto turrets, normal turrets.
Yeah, that's really the only saving grace right now, is that there is some static everywhere. Did Special notice yet? No, he hasn't scanned anything that would indicate battle cruisers. Hasn't really scanned his opponent in a while. Now he should be aware that that right side base is taken as he sees this command center land. There's a lot of Cyclones as well here. 6 Cyclones for Special.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that he went straight into battlecruisers instead of trying to work with the Liberators first, but Liberators can be a little bit tricky to control, especially against Cyclones and Thors, plus some Vikings as well. So what Bunny is doing right now is really good. I really like Bunny's army movement. He keeps Special honest. Special needs to keep chasing Bunny's army around, and he kind of just trades away his Vi units slowly but surely, without just throwing them away, where the switch would become obvious, right?
Yeah. We even see a Banshee coming out of Special here. This has to be a misclick, right?
That should be a Raven, yeah.
E and the R are very close on the keyboard, right next to each other. And here comes the big reveal. Ta-da! 2 turrets, not going to be enough to save those tanks. We see a bunch of Vikings, Cyclones and Ravens move straight towards that left side. Is there interference matrix available? Yes, there is one. No second one though. Let's see. I think one of these battlecruisers should go down. No, teleports to the other side of the map, and there's the rest of the army of Bunny. So already has 3 extra battlecruisers in production as well.
And yeah, Special is maxed out, so he can't produce a better army right now. He has 1 Thor in production, but for now he is working with this army that he has right now. The one good thing is that he can bunch it up, because he saw the battlecruisers teleporting, so they won't have a new teleport on cooldown for quite a while. So he's pushing forward, trying to deny the extra base that he's taking right now on his side of the map.
Special moving forward a little bit by a little bit. He wants to engage into this army, but can he? I'm not sure. He's the only one with Vikings though. Well, I guess there's 4 Vikings on the side of Bunny. I didn't see them hidden behind the 24 Ravens, or what is it, 13 Ravens. Of Yamato's coming out as well. We see disables on mines.
Yeah, I've never seen that one before, but especially I mean, I don't really see mines in general that often in late game TVT, but that was cool to see. And Special is transitioning into Vikings. I'm still surprised that Bunny is not continuing his air armor upgrades, whereas Special also is really late on the air attack upgrades himself. So I mean, the upgrades are still relatively even though they're both not maxed on it. And Bunny, he has hidden these battlecruisers. Do you think he's just going to Yamato down the orbital?
Wouldn't that just be a terrible play?
Do you think you should just click it?
I don't know. I don't think he should waste Yamato.
Yeah, I think that is a decent call. I thought he would at least scan forward, because if there's Raven next to it, it's always a little bit scary.
Yeah, that's true. All right, man. This is quite the freaking game. I'm surprised that I really thought the battlecruiser would do more, you know. I thought it would be more of a oh crap moment for Special, but he seems to have a well prepared response. Really the only thing lacking for him, as you mentioned, is those crappy ship weapon upgrades, as +1 finishes just now 24 minutes into the game from someone that opened double armory.
Yeah, absolutely. But I believe I think Bunny in general, he just wanted to have this perfect army. Like he still constantly had some bio units, and he now got rid of pretty much all the bio units. He only has 3 Marauders and 2 Medivacs remaining. I do question though that the amount of battlecruisers that he's making, because in direct fights, I think Vikings can be very important as well.
Viking Raven just seems superior there, no?
Yeah, for sure. The thing is, Special doesn't really have that many Vikings himself. So he's trying to disable most of the battlecruisers, but his Viking count is struggling to take out anything, to be honest, so...
He adds more Thors, but I'm not sure if Thors necessarily are the answer here to the battlecruisers. I feel like, if anything, the Ravens do well against the Thors, right? Because you can disable them one by one. I guess the Thors do have the superior upgrades here. There's 4 more Thors in production. There's 4 out on the map already, and Special is holding his ground with those turrets. He seems to not care too much about tanks. We saw a tank run by on the right side earlier. Has 2 more tanks siege up there. A couple of Ravens.
He's gonna teleport on top of the Thors, and he's disabling all of them, and now he can just mass Yamato down the Thors, or even just follow them, to be honest. And at the same time, he's also disabling the tanks. He's taking care of them with the Ravens alone. Now the BCs are without the Ravens here, so they can get guided quite a bit by the Vikings of Special, but overall that was a good sequence of events for Bunny, and Special is slowly but surely running out of minerals.
Yeah, it's a very powerful fight for Bunny indeed, where Special now is at 170 supplies. Entire army is red. Some of his units are disabled by the interference matrix. So you see these battlecruisers going down one by one as well. 7 battlecruisers in production, which is a crap ton of supply, so perhaps the supply don't completely tell the tale right here in this fight. On the other hand, it is looking very, very dangerous here. A lot of the Ravens are still alive, only kind of training out that energy, and overall units lost 41k for Special and 36,000 resources lost for Bunny.
Yeah, I think the big deal is that Special lost every single Raven that he had, and now he's trying to desperately go into Cyclones, trying to catch him off guard with too many Vikings or something, but Bunny is taking that into account, and he's even producing some buy units on the ground, which are going to be very, very helpful. And I think the big story is Special doesn't have Ravens, and Bunny does, and on top of that, Special is running out of minerals entirely, so he needs to defend that right side base, which is going to be very, very difficult since he's not maxed out yet.
Yeah. What is the orbital command here? We have 4 orbital commands here for Special. He's building a couple of extras. He has 4 command centers, not doing much of anything. One is on the far right, so it probably should become a planetary though. Indeed it does. Thors are defending the right side. I had the structure tab open and it's taking up almost the entirety of the screen. That's pretty sick. Upgrades also making it halfway across the screen. Bunny, of course, with the bio upgrades as well, helping him out a little bit, being ahead. And that mine gets taken out, and here comes Bunny once again, pushing forward, realizing, hey, maybe I can leverage my advantage into either a base denial or maybe even into a straight up win, as this top side base for Special will fall once again. SCVs are mining, but this will be the last trip they make to that planetary. They'll have to find a new home. I'm afraid most of them won't be able to get to any kind of home as 25 SCVs get taken out. And the map looks beautiful with all these sensor towers, man. Look at that. Constant scans, sensor towers. You can't really see anything anymore on this mini-map.
Yeah.
It's
all we're missing really is 2 sensor towers on the top right, and we're gonna have an entire circle. Bunny scans the army, he sees that is not enough units, and he goes forward, disabling everything. A lot of Widow Mines, Boro, but I think Bunny split decently. Only a single battlecruiser goes down, and Bunny takes it 2-0.